Watching him play, I know he's got good size, obviously. He seems to have a high basketball IQ, good touch around the rim. I think he fits into the direction the NBA is going right now, being able to score and put pressure on the defense no matter what the situation is. That wasn't me talking, that was Steph Curry, who I think tends to know a thing or two about basketball. And when I saw this picture of Rui Hachimura, I tended to think, wow, that was Giannis Antetokounmpo. The physical resemblance is pretty uncanny. And on top of that, watching him play, there are a lot of similarities to Giannis's game as well. And what Steph's talking about in terms of putting pressure on the defense, you do that by running hard to the rim, by being able to handle the ball well, especially with size, by being able to play in transition, by being able to post up. The same way Giannis dominates the games, I think Rui has a lot of skills and commonalities in his game that Giannis has. Let me show you why in the video as we go through in depth. Is Rui Hachimura the next Giannis? What do I see that could make him so special for the Washington Wizards? First and foremost, like I said, it's that ability to get out and really run. You see, when he takes those long strides at 6'9", that 7'2" wingspan, Giannis is at 7'3", you see he can really get out and run, be a force in transition, and when John Wall gets back, he'll certainly take advantage of him running. You see him run. There's times, too, I think he doesn't always run as hard as he can, and so if the Wizards really get him to just sprint and rim run the floor every single time, he is an athletic dude, he is a big dude, and he can run, he can catch, he can finish. All very important things. On top of that, he's really skilled. He's got a significant post game, has been really well developed at that spot by Mark Few, the Gonzaga coaching. Somebody with the Wizards told me he's had great coaching and wants to be great. We love the work ethic, the continued improvement year to year, ability to grab it off the glass and go the length, ability to guard multiple positions. You see him working in the post. I think that's where he's got the most established skill set right now. The face-up game, the ability to rip through and drive baseline. He's got pro-level moves in the post. He knows how to seal his man, good fundamental skills. You see this drop step to the baseline with his right foot. Polished fundamental post player that I think at that 4 spot, as a pretty big 4 at 6'9", with his size, with his weight, I think he'll definitely be able to take advantage of a lot of switching defenses like Siakam does, again, like Giannis does. You see him again holding off with the seal here. The ability to catch, rise up in traffic. Yes, he's not as strong of an athlete right now, obviously, as Giannis is, and maybe doesn't have that kind of vertical explosion, but he does make up for it again with his skill set. The ability to finish with both hands around the basket, the basketball IQ, the ability to find open shooters, the fundamentals. Again, he's been really well taught to hold his positioning, to get deep post-ups, and he has some solutions as well. You see this, again, kind of has a Kawhi Leonard, LaMarcus Aldridge feel to it, going to the fadeaway on the post-up. Again, these big names I'm naming are not any guarantee or saying he's going to be Kawhi or be Giannis or anything, but you can definitely see the talent. Again, sealing off the small in the post, finishing with his left hand. Giannis was 6'9", 196 when he was drafted. Rui is 6'9", 225 right now. Does he grow to be 7 feet? Obviously, he's a few years older than Giannis was when he was drafted, so probably not. Maybe he picks up another inch or two. Can he put on some more muscle to get to 240? Absolutely. You see that good touch with the left hand, being able to handle the ball off a small pick and roll, another small brush screen right here that they use to get him downhill to the rim. These are the actions, again, you see for Siakam, for Giannis frequently, being able to handle the ball in tight spaces, finish with both hands around the basket. Look at this, being tough with the ball on the rebound and then taking it in transition against Duke, up 2 minutes left. Having the confidence in him to handle the ball, finding Clark with a brilliant dump-off pass. I love the intensity, the enthusiasm that he plays with as well. That's big time. Again, like the Wizards mentioned, the ability to rebound, handle it himself in transition. This is a big-time move right here. There's a lefty in-and-out dribble. Great poise, great body control, great balance. Again, is Giannis probably dunking that? Absolutely. Is he maybe dunking this one? Absolutely. But you can see the kid has a really good handle, especially for somebody that only started playing basketball at around the age of 13 with the right to left cross right here to beat his man, end up getting fouled. Really comfortable ball handler for his size. I see that kind of point forward, 6'4", or excuse me, stretch 4, ability to play some small ball 5, has a good feel for the game, good IQ like we said. Watch how quickly this play develops as Clark draws help on the baseline. Rui gets the ball, having his eyes up quickly to find the open man. And again, to handle it himself in transition, to go coast to coast, doesn't stick the landing there. Can improve a little bit for sure as a finisher. But I love his aggression. Again, you see the left to right crossover right here. Great at attacking angles, these gaps that you see constantly in the NBA. This is the kind of system Giannis plays in. If this post guy was out here at the 3, you play a 5-out system. I think he's a guy who bigs at the 4 spot, 5 spot are going to have a lot of trouble keeping him in front. I think with his handle, he's able to get by a lot of guys, get to the basket, and finish. What I really like as well, his ability to create his own shot. Even though this one misses, he's got advanced footwork, again, a sign of good coaching in the mid-post, in the mid-range to get his own shot off. I think you see shades, again, of a guy like LaMarcus Aldridge right here with that pull-up. That's an Aldridge move right there, the crossover to rise up. He can rise up and shoot over almost anybody and has really, really good touch from that mid-range. Although post-ups tend to be dead for traditional centers, they're certainly not dead for Giannis, for Siakam, for Kawhi, for Jimmy Butler, for guys at that 3-4 spot. I see that being a huge place where Rui is able to operate and score a lot of his points that way. You see, again, very fundamental, very poised, calm under pressure. In terms of his shot, let's start with the positives. He can make free throws. That's a really good sign. Better than Giannis was at this point. I think, obviously, that'll translate to the NBA. It'll be a good free throw shooter. Threes, I can't tell you as strongly that I feel confident about that. Does have a lot of mechanical issues with his 3-ball. Really isn't comfortable out there. Only made 14 ultimately the whole season. When you watch him shoot, frequently he's short a lot of the time. I think it does have a lot to do. A little dip in his shot is okay, but he seems to really dip the ball really low and then have to really stretch to rise up. Ends up shooting it almost at his peak. There's not really a whole lot of fluidity in his shot from out there just yet. And again, while I'm nitpicking, I'll just talk about another thing you see, setting ball screens. He tends to let the defender go under a whole lot and just whiff on these ball screens pretty constantly. That's something he'll have to improve at the next level. But again, I do like his ability to take it off the dribble then, create his own shot, and rise up. Again, when they say mid-range is dead, sure, they might mean these foot-on-the-line, long twos, 19, 21 feet, etc. But this shot around the free throw line is a huge shot that Kawhi uses incredibly frequently. Giannis uses incredibly frequently. Being able to score from that 8 to 10 foot range is hugely valuable. Again, the 3, more of an issue. That one off to the side. This one ends up getting blocked in large part. I think, again, as you see him dip the ball, this is a good athlete coming at him, but you see him really dip the ball down low around his knees and have to rise back to pull it up. I think that's going to end up getting a shot blocked a few times. The Wizards will have to work with him, obviously, to speed that up. I wouldn't expect him to be making a whole lot of threes his first year. He tends to also sort of lean back, have a backwards lean in his shot with his feet coming forward, not straight up, straight down. But you know what? His misses, aside from this one, aren't egregiously off for the most part. A lot of them are front or a little bit long. There's something there. He can be able to be made into a stretch 4. The concern, obviously, though, is that he's just not that to begin with. You see again here, not really screening a body on the ball screen. This is something that needs to be worked on, teaching him to make better contact on ball screens. And then, as he does end up ducking in here and getting a post up, there's a few times he could serve to be a little bit stronger with the basketball. But again, these are a few nitpicks. This one, defender might have got a hand on it, but also there's a few times you see his hands not having the best in the world, but they'll, of course, work on that as well and improve that aspect of his game. Another minor thing, and once again, we talked about the athleticism. You know, I think he's just harnessing or just beginning to show what an athlete he can be. I think what he does have right now is he has really advanced fundamentals, really advanced footwork, reading his man, being able to rip through and drive. Where he really needs to improve, though, is situations like this, taking the bump, exploding up, and finishing strong at the basket. He tends to get knocked off his path a decent amount. You see him kind of shy away from the contact here, falling away. I think that's something they'll have to obviously work with him on. And for sure, he's not the best athlete in the world. He's not the most vertical of a leaper. Plays like this is kind of what I was talking about seeing him play hard all the time. I think he plays hard 95% of the time, which is really, really good. Really, really good for a first round pick. But even plays like this, Clark's the first man ahead. Rui should be running right behind him, right off his tail. As Clark ends up catching the ball falling out of bounds, Rui might have a layup if he's right around here ready to receive it. Even when the ball goes to the shooter, he should still be crashing right now, potentially ready to get the offensive rebound. You see him a little tentative on that possession, and that needs to get better. Defensively, let's start with just a couple nitpicks as well. Situational awareness. They were down 4 minutes left in this huge game. This man sets a ball screen, and he's all the way back there. You have to have the awareness, late shot clock, even as far out as he is, to be up on the shooter, to be ready to take that shot away. That was a huge three that ended up sending Texas Tech to the Final Four. This possession, not his best either, as you see. A little lack of awareness to get matched up in transition, then a really poor jumping closeout that allows a big finish at the basket. But on the positive side, I really, really, really like him as a switchable defender. I like him as a guy that can guard 1 through 5 on switches. I saw a lot of draft heads griping about his defense. There's some defensive numbers, I guess, that aren't great. But when you watch him play, he's a really locked-in defender who can guard multiple positions, who can move his feet, who can be in the right help spot, who's away and towards the ball, who's aware, who's willing to get on the floor, dive for loose balls, get dirty, play with a lot of passion. Watch him here on this possession as he guards May. He's going to switch the ball screen as Gonzaga switches pretty much everything. This one got called a goaltend. I'm not positive that it was, to be honest. Might have been going up still. Watch here. You see good awareness again, being away and towards the ball, generally speaking. On the switch here, this time he does a great job being up, being low in a stance, containing the ball. When he gets attacked, he's able to cover a lot of ground quickly and make up for it with good closing speed. Whether he or Clark get the block there, they each had a shot at it. Again, he can make free throws. That's the positive. Wizards got to focus on getting him to get to the line, to be aggressive, to stay in attack mode. But I like, too, Gonzaga put him at the head of this trap. They ran a full court press, a little 1-2-2 type deal a lot of the time. And Rui was at the very top of it, being the big guy right in the middle. Clearly shows how much they valued his length, his ability to be a disruptive force on the defensive end. You know what? They had about the 12th ranked defense in the country too. So whatever the stats, individual stats said, he was doing what his team asked him to do. You see here in a heavy switching scheme, he switches first this screen, then he's going to switch again onto Culver. Now he's going to guard him on the post up and watch as Culver ends up glitching with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jab steps. Rui does a great job not leaving his feet on any of them, staying disciplined, keeping that hand up in his face, getting a good contest on the shot, has good discipline, knows how to play, knows how to guard multiple spots, and in addition, he can really be a little bit of a rover defensively. You see as his man cuts away here, he sees Culver end up getting trapped, a man come open right here that's not his guy, but he does a great job again seeing the basketball, anticipating here, taking it, being ready to run himself in transition. Again, the switch, staying low in a stance, guarding Culver. Tough matchup for him. Look at how he stays low, bodies the ball. This is, again, where I really, really see the Giannis type in him. The ability to stay low, guard multiple positions, body up, be strong, be physical. Help the helper. Finish possessions with blockouts. Does a lot of good things on that end that, again, don't necessarily show up in the stat sheet. But just a solid positional defender, again, who did what the scheme asked of him. Contained the ball, took the bump. The shot goes in, but that's pretty good defense in my opinion. You see again as he switches onto Mooney on this ball screen, how low he is, how good he is as Mooney tries to attack his feet. This is not your traditional big man. This is your new age big man. Your Siakam, your Giannis again that can stay low, guard multiple positions, switch on the shooters, be that Draymond type, be disruptive defensively, block out, get rebounds. Does a lot of those things. And then finally, he can, in addition, get steals too and end up taking it coast to coast. This is where I can see him getting a huge amount of his offense from. His ability, again, to be disruptive, to be in passing lanes, and to handle it himself, to go the length of the court to finish in transition. Is he the next Giannis? Don't want to put that kind of pressure on the kid. There's no telling. It's obviously pretty hard to get there, but you hear things about his work ethic. You see the drastic improvement he's made year to year at Gonzaga. You know that he was a late bloomer. You know that he has an entire country behind him. I like betting on guys like that. I think he has the physical attributes to be a really, really successful player in the NBA. I think he'll end up being a high impact defender, a versatile guy, a guy who can handle the ball, a guy who puts a lot of pressure on the defense, like Steph said. Appreciate you guys watching. Maybe not the next Giannis, but I think he does have a tremendous amount of potential and will end up being a really effective player and a guy who ends up helping to change the culture in DC. Thanks for watching. Make sure you thumb up, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you check out the written scouting report on Rui coming very soon on Twitter at ScoutWithBryan. Again, make sure you follow on Twitter. Make sure you hit the thumb up and subscribe in particular so you don't miss any future Wizards videos, any future draft videos. Check out all my content to date at ScoutWithBryan.com. Appreciate you watching and thanks for your support.